Well, hey guys, welcome to the episode number 2 of Winning at Home and Winning at Work. Actually, Winning at Work, Winning at Home podcast. But listen, I appreciate you guys coming. Hopefully the first episode was good. You know, we're going through these, just trying to, the reason or the value for this podcast, it's for individuals that are looking to not only win in the workplace, but obviously win at home as well. Understanding that, like we talked about in the previous podcast, that it's like four, tires on a car. If one isn't working well, let's say you're struggling at home, it's hard. It's hard not to take that to the workplace, and vice versa. You know, if you're struggling at work, it's hard not to take that stuff back home, and it really does affect everything. So, the reason for this podcast, like we talked about, I'm passionate about helping individuals not only win in the workplace, but win at home, win spiritually in their faith, live a healthy life, be incredible parents, and that's something that I'm so passionate about doing. The reason being is I got to work on it every single day. I have to work on improving myself. It's hard. It's hard. Marriage is hard. Parenting is hard. Business is hard. Not wanting to eat, certain things. I love those carrot cakes, those stupid carrot cakes at 7-Eleven. It's just crazy. And it's hard to go in there and not get one of those things and slam a little thing of whole milk. But all those different things, all those little struggles, all those little battles, we all go through similar things. It could be a bigger thing going on in your life right now. You could be in a career that you just hate, and you just dread going to work, or maybe your marriage is falling apart, or you're having extreme difficulty in that. Maybe you have a child that is kind of gone off the path and isn't living up to the expectations, but just not is really hurting themselves in their future, and that can be incredibly painful to the parents. So whatever it is you're going through, this podcast is really just designed to kind of go through this journey of life together. I go through all these things every day with you. Like I said, been married 20 years, have 4 kids, have a business, bills need to be paid. It's the stuff, right? There's certain things that I struggle with, and it's going through this journey together. And hopefully in this podcast, you'll get tips and tricks and strategies and things to maybe help you begin to, progress. And really that's what I think success is, and what we kind of talked about, last week, that I don't think success is having a certain amount. And well, I know it is. It's not about having a certain amount in your bank account. It's not about what car you drive. It's not about, how big your house may be. Success is just really being able, I feel, to progress in the most important areas of your life, to get better, every week, every month, and just to grow and to be able to give back and to be able to do the things that matter most to you, that make you happy, but also more importantly, make the people around you happy as well. And that's what we're all striving for. That's what we're all trying to do. I really feel that we're doing that. Some are more aware of it than others, right? Some of us get numb and we just feel that there's no way out. We feel that this is how work needs to be. This is just how it is. It's going to suck. I need to buck up and go do it. And yes, there are going to be times that it sucks. Some people feel that marriage is just the way marriage is, and it can't be passionate, and it can't be exciting, and it can't be whatever it may be. You know what I'm saying? They settle for mediocrity, and that's not something that I want to do, and I hope it's something that you don't want to do as well. Because listen, we all have tremendous potential. We all have these wonderful gifts that God has placed in us. And it's really tapping that and understanding, what we need to do on a daily basis, what He wants us to do, how we can impact others, how we can make a big difference. So, with this second one, I'm going through this. This is only episode number 2. So I'm really trying to figure out how this podcast is going to develop, how it's going to flow. And, so you got to bear with me. Like I said, this is just a conversation. So whether you're in the car right now, I re-listened to the first podcast as I was out doing some yard work. Because I say that's one of the things that's neat, and why I got motivated to do the podcast is, time is so important. And often what you do is you can't watch a video while you're driving. But you can do other things. So like I said, I did the yard work, kind of re-listened to myself, critique myself. But I was able to get stuff done. And that's the beauty about a podcast. That's the neat thing about it, is you can be doing whatever you need to be doing at this particular time, but still have it playing through your headphones. Another reason, just to be honest with you, I was thinking that I did this podcast is I want something for my kids. I do those mindset minutes, but I want something for my kids. There's a great book that came out years and years ago. I think it's called Letters from Dad. I think it's up there somewhere behind me in the case. But it talked about the importance of leaving stuff back for your kids. Whether that's it talks about letters from dad. It talks about writing to your kids, and I actually started that for a while. I had their own personal cards for Hove, Jace, Brock, and Liam, and started writing them certain notes. And I got them a little letterbox, letters from dad. And I know that they have some of those notes. They've saved all of them, but I wasn't steady. So maybe each of the kids have, 4, 5, 6 letters from me of encouragement, letters of support. But the neat thing about that is, and I'll get back to the point another reason why I'm doing this podcast is those things like that we leave for our kids matter the most. When my mom passed away, there's a little, I have it up there on my bookshelf as well. She left her Bible, and in her Bible is so marked up with little notes, different things. But when I got her Bible, inside was a little napkin that when we went out to lunch, and I'm not sure when it was, but it was a napkin from a restaurant that we used to go to in California. And she wrote like a little note in there, like almost like a little poem, but just little scratches of thoughts that maybe came to her mind, as there wasn't much life left for her on this world. And that little note, that Bible where stuff is written down and stuff was more her sharing her heart, that means the world to me. I mean, that's so important. So that's another reason why I did this podcast, because, this podcast, this audio, I mean, last time I checked, I don't think the internet's going to go away anytime soon. I don't think this, audio recording is going to go away any soon. But my gosh, I think it's special for the kids if they're a certain age, right? They can go back and they can listen to dad, and that'll be on record. Maybe for the grandkids, they say, "Hey kids, you want to listen to your granddad back in 2017 when he was talking?" I mean, that to me is special, because they're going to have something, whether I'm there or not at that time, whether I get the fortunate blessing of living a really late life, but I might not. And the thing about it is hopefully my kids can go and play this back to their grandkids, and they'll be able to hear me. And I think that's special. So grandkids, if you're listening to this and it's 50 or 55, I love you, and hopefully you're doing well. So anyways, that's another reason for this podcast. So I want to encourage you, if you have kids, to leave them things like that. I mean, write them a note, write them notes. If you're not a good writer, then figure it out. It doesn't even matter. I mean, just little cards with 3 or 4 sentences, like I said, from my mom, means the world to me. And it's so tremendous. And I want to encourage you to leave something like that for your kids, because it does matter. It does matter. So in this podcast, last one I went about 38 minutes. I like to keep this about 30, maybe less, 20 to 30. I always say that, and then it seems to go over a little bit. But, as we're kind of developing this, I talk about those mindset minutes. And in those minutes, I don't have time to really go into what it is or elaborate on what I'm talking about. So I thought, it would be a good time in one of the podcasts to kind of recap a little bit of the week and what I talked about, because, you know, in those podcasts, they're meant to obviously help me. I always tell when people say, "Oh, I love your little mindset minutes," and they really seem to help. I always tell people, like, listen, to be honest, it's a lot of it is for me. I mean, not a lot of it. It is for me. It's what's on my mind. It's what I share in my heart, and it helps me. It keeps me accountable. It gets me motivated, right? If I'm speaking it, if I'm sharing it with you guys, as I told you, I'm really, really transparent. I have to be living it. There's no excuse, right? I can't do that. I'm not that type of person that can tell you guys or try to encourage you to do something and then I'm not living it in my life. That's not authentic. That's not real. That's not genuine, and that's not going to happen. So I thought I'd recap it. So on October 30th, whenever that was, I'm just looking at my little YouTube channel here, which I'm actually going live on right now. Lighting's not too bad. It's okay. I'm looking at, I got a lot of times when I do videos, so sometimes I'll do videos to my real estate team in my office, and they tease the heck out of me because I have some big windows here in the front, and the lighting you would think would be good coming from the windows, but actually, man, sometimes it's not. I look so pale. I look like albino, but either way, I think I look okay in this one as far as lighting wise. Looked like I saw the sun in the last month. But anyways, let me get back on track. I did one mindset minute number 151. I talked about Mr. Motivation ain't coming. Mr. Motivation ain't coming. And I think that's such a tremendous, and what I was talking about at that point, if we wait until we're motivated, to do something that we know that we should be doing, that we know is kind of scares us a little bit, it ain't going to happen. Our body is designed to keep us protected. Our body is naturally designed to not have us take that risk, right? It's there to protect us. So if there's something that we need to do, whether that's a conversation, you know, with your husband that you know may not start out that well or may not go that good in the beginning, but it's a conversation you need to have, you're not going to be motivated. That motivation isn't going to be coming to have that conversation. You're not going to be like, yes, I'm going to go talk to my husband about how he's not spending that much time with me. That's not going to, you know, then you're not going to be excited to do that. So, you know, and there's certain things in business, right? You're not going to necessarily be motivated to do those daily things that you need to do that is going to move the needle the way that it needs to go, that's going to progress, right? A lot of times you're not going to be motivated to make the telephone calls you need to call. You're not going to be motivated to do those things that need to be done. That may seem mundane, but they need to be done on a daily basis. You know, you're not necessarily going to be motivated. I'm not motivated every single day at 11:45 to go to CrossFit to get my butt kicked. You know, I enjoy it. I realize the benefit of it. I realize that I'm going to feel really good afterwards, and I'm going to feel good at the end of the day when I know I got my workout in. But listen, I'm not pumped to go do 100 burpees. I'm not pumped to go run, 800, meters in under a certain amount of time, while flipping a tire or doing whatever. I'm not pumped to feel like I'm going to get sick and can't breathe and I'm breathing through a straw. I'm not excited, not motivated to do that. But I understand, and what you need to understand, that motivation comes, or that emotion comes, when the activity is starting and when you're doing it. Now listen, that's what I'm saying. We can't wait for the motivation to come. We need to do. So often motivation comes from taking action. Often what people do is they get it backwards. They say, I need to be motivated before I take action. That's the wrong way. You need to take action, and then that motivation or that emotion will come after that. So that was Mindset Minute number 151. Hopefully that helped you. Hopefully you're able to draw something out of that, a little thing. I want you to draw something out of this podcast every time. Little nuggets. If you can take one little nugget, then this is worthwhile. Number 152, I talked about taking a nap. Now, if you want, I'm saying 152. I've done quite a few of these. Hopefully, I'm trying to get 5 in a week. So if you ever want to go back and look at the Mindset Minutes, go to my YouTube channel, Damon Eddy channel. That's where I'm live on right now. And you can go back and you can start looking at all the mindset minutes I've done. They're only a minute, so it's super, super fast. But anyways, number 152 is taking a nap. I'm reading a great book. It's right over there. If I had it, I would show it to you. But it talks about rest. And it's such a good book. So just look it up, Rest. It's a blue cover. I can't remember who the author is because I can't see that far over there. But anyways, it's just a great book. And it talks about the idea of rest and how important that is for your creativity, how important that is for really opening and expanding your mind. That often what people do is they feel it's a badge of honor to run around like maniacs and work so hard and never take breaks. And, then you drink the 5-hour energy, the Red Bull, and you just got to keep going and you got to keep pressing. That's not the way to do it. It could be a mom that says, I just got so much to do. I cannot take a break. I can't take a nap. What are you, crazy? I got to do this. Listen, you have to understand the importance of rest and what that does. And it re-energizes you and it re-gets you going to where you're incredibly productive. You have to understand that being busy does not mean you're being productive. And the whole idea of work is really to be productive, to get important things done that need to get done. And if you don't have the rest that you need and you're running around like a maniac, that's not going to do you any good. You need to understand the importance of taking a nap or taking a walk or like what I do in the middle of the day is understand that my mind starts to go. I start to get a little tired around 11:30, and that's where I go and I do something that doesn't necessarily use my mind as much. I just go in there and I just lift weights. I just go in there and do the CrossFit and throw tires and do pull-ups and burpees and get on that rower, get on Satan's cycle and pedal my butt off, whatever it is. That doesn't take my mind. It loosens up my mind and it frees my mind up to get ready for the rest of the day. And it energizes me. So you have to understand that. It's interesting. The days that I'm able to take a nap, I feel so good. If I can get a nap like around 3 o'clock or 3:30, just real quick, like a 20-minute power nap, man, I'm such a better husband. I'm such a better father. I have more energy to do the things that I want to do, to play with the kids, wrestle with the kids, just do that, right? But if I don't, I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to keep going. I don't have time for a nap. Then, about 6:37, 7:38, I'm tired. I don't have the energy, this and that. So what do you feel is more important? Do you feel that I keep pressing and I just keep going? Or do you, let me ask you the question, it's really regards to you, or do you take the time? Because listen, I know there's some moms out there, and I know there's some dads and some workers like, dude, I do not have time for a nap. And I really think you do. I really think that you do. I think you can find the time. And if you want to push back on that, you can push back on that. I guarantee you, a lot of the moms and a lot of the dads are out there and you're spending time on social media. I guarantee you're spending at least 30, 45 minutes on social media. I mean, I don't know. Last time I checked, I don't think that energizes you. I don't think you get off Facebook and Instagram is like, yeah, I'm pumped now. I have a lot of energy. I feel great. That's not happening. So listen, you have the time. You have the 20 or 30 minutes. You have the time to get outside and take a walk. You have that time to do that. They talk about walking too as another way to re-energize you and get your mind and clears you out. Great thing to do. So you guys have time. Think about rest. Think about scheduling that in, taking the time to do it. If you're tired and you need a break, then shut your eyes, lay down, and get it done. You're going to be so much more productive. Another thing I talked about in Mindset Minute number 153, I talked about patience. Patience is so important. I follow a lot of Gary Vaynerchuk, and he talks about that all the time. And I'm going to be doing a podcast in regards to about patience and how that is such a key ingredient to success. And we need to be patient, guys. Listen, there may be certain things in business that you're doing right now, certain things that you're maybe 2 weeks in, you're a month, you're maybe, almost 2 months in, and you haven't seen the reward, you haven't harvested yet. But listen, they usually say it takes about 90 days. It takes about 90 days for something that you have been doing consistently to really begin to pay off. And I think that's what happens so much in business with individuals. I know in my business with real estate agents are so inconsistent. That's why their months are up and down, right? They do certain things, they just crush it, they make the calls, they do the handwritten notes, they contact people, they hustle. Then, you guys know this, you get super busy, and then you stop doing the thing that got you the business. You stop doing the hustling, you stop doing the thing consistently that got you that business. Then 2 months later, you're down again. Then you hustle, do it back up. If you could just be consistent on an activity, this is so important in business. There's usually about 1 to 3 things that move the needle the most. There's usually about 1 to 3 things that make the biggest difference in your business, the biggest difference in your income. And if you can be consistent in those 1 to 3 things Monday through Friday, and if those 1 to 3 things are within like an hour and a half time frame, you can do that. And that's where that consistent. Now, it's so important, right? But you got to get that. You got to protect that time. But you need to be patient. You need to see it through. And that's where what happens so many times is people aren't patient. They put in the time, they put in the work, they put in the effort, right? But then they don't see the results as quickly as they want, and then they give up. I mean, it happens all the time in weight loss, right? All the time. People are like, I need to start losing weight, I need to start eating better. And then they eat better for a week, and then they get on a scale and they haven't lost the weight. I mean, are you serious? Are you serious? Think about this. Or you've been eating like crap and you haven't been working out for a year, and then you expect to change and you're going to get results in a week? No. It does not work that way. It's the same thing in marriage, right? You may have been, husbands, you may have been treating your wife tremendously bad, ignoring her, not spending time, not feeding into her love language. And then, you get a little kick in the butt. You're like, okay, I'm going to start doing things right now. And you do things right for a day, a week, 2 weeks, and you expect your wife to do a 180 and just forget everything that you've done in the last, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years. Now, yes, I understand that, women, you need to appreciate that and know that he's doing an effort. But listen, guys, you got to be patient. You got to work it, and you got to work it for consistently. Always be working it. I mean, that result, that idea of, with the weight loss is such an interesting thing, because you see that all the time. You see that all the time where people begin to work out in the beginning of the year, they don't see the results they want, they give up, and then they go right back to where it is. But just imagine if you were to begin to work out and you begin to eat right. What do you think you would look like in a year or 2 years or 3 years? It would be completely different. People wouldn't even recognize you. It's the same thing in your marriage. What if you were to love your spouse, love your husband consistently in the way that he needed to be loved, or love your wife consistently in a year and a half, 2 years, 3 years? If you were consistent in that activity, what do you think your marriage would look like? It'd be tremendous. People will be wanting to meet with you guys to see how you do it, see what you do. It's the same thing in business. Just think what would happen if you were consistent every single day, Monday through Friday, with an activity, 1 to 3 things that you did that moved the needle the most, whether that's consistently reaching out to clients, your database, handwritten notes. If you were consistent, your business would be off the charts. It would be off the charts. But that takes patience. Patience is so important. You have to be patient enough to see that or get to harvest time. If you're not patient, it's like planting the seed and then not working the soil and then just leaving. I mean, it's just crazy. It doesn't make any sense. How do you I mean, imagine a farmer doing that. He would have it wouldn't even work, right? So anyways, that's it in regards to that. I'm 24 minutes. 24 minutes. I could end it now. I know the last one I want to talk about. Listen, Mindset Minute 154. That's titled "You Have It All Together," and that was done. I did that in the morning. My eyes are all puffy and jacked up. I think it was about 6 in the morning. I did a little video. I just got done reading, and one of the things that I want to talk about in that point. And listen, if you're listening to this podcast, you're kind of doing it, right? You're taking time to grow and learn, and But understanding that if you're complaining and you're whining and there's an area in your life that you need to improve, which there really is for every single one of us. I mean, listen, I could always be healthier. I could always be a better husband. I need to be working on my marriage. I could always do a little bit better in business. I need to adjust and do. I mean, I spent a lot of time this morning looking at my schedule and really looking at possibly shifting it, and kind of what I came up with, which I wasn't necessarily too excited about, was I came up with the idea that I need to get up 30 minutes earlier, 30 minutes to 20 minutes earlier, so I can start at a certain time. So I'm actually going to even be getting up earlier now. But listen, the idea of if there's an area in your life that you need to improve, which we all have, stop acting like you don't need to improve it, or stop living your life not improving. You know, I talked about the idea that we can spend, 20 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. I mean, I'm sure there's people out there that are hitting 4 hours of social media. You're out there doing, scrolling through Instagram, scrolling through Facebook, watching stupid, I mean, I know your cat lovers are going to hate this, watching stupid cat videos, listening to stuff that depresses you, that bums you out. I mean, come on. And not taking 5 minutes, not taking 10 minutes, not taking 15 minutes to work on an area of your life that needs to be worked on. You have to be kidding me. Seriously. So my encouragement to you is to spend a little less time on social, a little less time watching dumb little videos, a little less time, scrolling aimlessly, numbing your mind on Instagram or whatever it may be, on Snapchat. It's fun. I do videos on Snapchat, little things of the kids where I do the voice changer and distort my face and laugh and it looks funny as hell. I do that stuff. But I'm saying is I do that, but I also take time to learn and grow. And I understand that. And that's what I want to encourage you guys to do. If there's something that you need to be working on in your life, take 10 minutes, 15, 20, 30 minutes a day and work on it. And cut out a little bit of the social media time. Hope that makes sense. So I'm going to end it right here. But thank you guys for watching episode number 2 of Winning at Work and Home podcast. If this benefits you guys, please share it. I'm still trying to work on getting it all set up correctly in iTunes and different things like that. But if this benefits you, I appreciate you sharing it with others. I got encouragement the other day on Instagram from an individual that said something like, man, you were way underrated. I appreciate you so much. I hope that people start to learn about you a little bit more. And that comment right there, I mean, I'm words of affirmation. That's my love language. So I was like, oh, it felt so good. I'm like, man, I love that dude. I tried to find him on Instagram, who he was. I sent him a message back, letting him know how much I appreciated it. But that made such a difference to me. So I'm asking for your support. I'm asking for it because that encourages me to keep going. Life is hard. Life is a challenge. I got to do certain things better. We're in this journey together. So I'm asking for your support and to come along in this journey with me. And hopefully we'll get some great benefit and learn a lot on the way. So thanks guys for watching and listening to episode number 2. See you guys.